The Nelson Stud Welding here at the West Ridge Elyria equipment plant and fastener plant, we produce all the weld studs, the ceramic ferrules, and the equipment that we use to stud weld and use the process.
Nelson is our cold forming center of excellence where we do a lot of the heading for our large construction products. We do large diameters, long lengths, high volumes here, and we also manufacture our ferrules.
Stud welding is very well suited for shipbuilding, high-rise construction, light industrial, automotive, and even nuclear power plants. We hit basically anything that a customer uses metal to put together. We can stud weld on and help them in the attachment process for things that they're assembling. So the real benefit to stud welding is that there's not the need to have a qualified welder when you do the process. So really, once you set up the equipment to do the stud welding, any unskilled laborer can do the process. And so that's a real benefit when you look at our labor pools these days and how we're trying to put people to work. So why people want to use Nelson Stud Welding when they're doing this process is because we're the originator of the process. We can supply the equipment, the ferrules, and the studs. And then we also have a support system that supplies like service support, training, spare parts, any sort of questions the customer has to make the process go smoothly. We also specialize in automation. Our ability to auto feed studs, work with robotics and pick and place systems, allow our customers not to have to do the manual welding themselves, but to automate the system so that you have more precise location, you have higher quality control, and you have a faster output. We're working on a project with a company named Meadowberg that is also doing large construction studs, and we're using a automated weld head with automated ferrule grippers to help with the exact placement of the studs and to increase the throughput on the welding. We also have a project coming that's going to be a nuclear power project with Aecon up in Canada, and they're also going to be automating that with robotics as well.
Another important aspect of our business is the service and support we provide to the customer. So when you buy from Nelson, one, you're getting the best quality equipment that you can get, and that we will stand behind that equipment. So if the customer ever has any issues in the field or in their shop, there's a Nelson employee that is not too far from where they're at, since we have locations all over the United States and globally that can support that customer.
So a lot of times a customer will reach out to us because they're looking to fulfill an ROI for an installation, which means they want to spend some capital money to improve their process. But what they want to do is invest the money and then see a higher throughput. So what we'll do is we'll come in and we'll evaluate their whole process, and then we'll figure out how stud welding is going to optimize the throughput on the cell that they're doing the welding in right now. So typically, we'll get an ROI that returns within a year for however much capital that the customer wants to invest.
For Nelson, the key for us is, one, selling the equipment. We sell a customer a piece of equipment, we provide the service that goes along with that equipment, and then we intend to actually sell them the studs that they're going to be using with that equipment. So it's the razor blade analogy. We love selling people razors, but we want to sell them as many razor blades as possible. First and foremost, if a customer wants to start with Nelson, we have local salesmen. Again, we have locations all over the United States and globally. They can get a hold of their local salesman. The salesman will come to their facility, see exactly what the requirements are, and if it's something that we can help them perform. We'll do it here in Elyria before we send it back out to the customer, make sure everything is correct, make sure the equipment is set up correctly, and then set that up at the customer's facility. So if anybody needs to get a hold of Nelson, they can call 1-800-NELWELD. It'll come through to their local sales rep.